Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. This is Doc with Blades and Blasters, and we are going to be running episode 5 of Mordheim, City of the Damned, a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition game. And in this game, we have Maddie as Juliana, we have the Dude as Brother Lucian, and we have Ghost as Durak, the Slayer. And last game saw them take on a job, essentially to go to Mordheim to look for a noble's missing son. And they were prepping, getting ready, got what they needed, collected their gear, met the boat captain that will be taking them down the river to Mordheim via the River Stir, which cuts right through Mordheim. After traveling for the majority of the day and into the night, they were surprised to see what looks like a boat or a ship up against the banks of the river and in flames, or at least has some flames on them. And one of the boat hands using the spyglass looked down and claims to have seen the telltale signs, the tracks and drag marks of a troll, of a filthy, filthy troll. And that's kind of where we left it off last time. I do, you guys, I want to retcon one thing. Yes, there's going to be a retcon here. At the last session, I made some comment about them making their way to the banks. They had jumped in the water and it had been up to their chests, that kind of thing. That bothered me and bothered me and bothered me to no end, so much to the point that I'm actually changing that. It's nothing big. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but there's no reason why the boat that they were in didn't have a dinghy that they could get into and row to the shore. No reason for them to jump in the water and almost drown the dwarf just to get to the shore. So that is an official change to the last session. You guys took a small dinghy to the banks of the river while looking to see what you can find with this wrecked boat that has some flames on it. Anyone have any questions about that?
No.
No.
All right. So with that, we'll just get right to it, I guess. Let me move you guys back to the boat. If I can find it. I have the new setup. What's that from? The page?
Oh, VTT, right?
Yeah, the VTT enhancement. Yeah.
Everyone should get it if they have.
I am getting used to the page layout for the page toolbar. Oof, you're all very large on there.
I am very large, correct.
Oh yes. And before we get started, Durok has reminded me, whispered in my ear, if you enjoy our sessions, if you enjoy our RPGs or RPing, don't forget to subscribe. The button's right down there. Go ahead and join Blades and Blasters and take a look at everything else we have to offer. There are a lot of different systems, a lot of different settings, a lot of different GMs. You'll be able to find something that you enjoy. In any case, from this point here, let me change the music just a little bit. Okay. All right, so going back a few steps from the previous session, even though it's dark, the flames coming off the boat from the banks are bright. You can see the fire flickering on parts of the ship. Not a massive fire. Doesn't look to be engulfed. The boat on the banks doesn't look to be engulfed in flames, but it does look wrecked. It does look like it was run aground, and now there are several parts of it that have small flames kind of just piercing through the dark night. That obviously stands out as you stroll by. The captain, the captain, Frisch, he orders that the boat come to a stop, and it was then that his second mate, Alwyn, was looking through the spyglass and noticed the telltale drag marks and the feet prints in the mud of what looks like to be a troll. From this distance, using the spyglass, he could tell, and with his experience out on the water, being seasoned on these rivers, you take him for his word. And that's when you guys made your decision to go ahead and investigate. As the boat comes to a stop, a small anchor dropped. You all climb into the dinghy and start heading to the shore. Not far away. It's maybe 5 minutes from where he was able to bring the boat into. And the water is dark and black, the moonlight shining on it. And you just row toward the shore. I'm assuming all three of you are going, is that correct? Or is anyone staying?
Juliana's going on the boat.
And Durok and Lucian?
I have no intentions of leaving Juliana.
Okay.
I'm the one who convinced him to go. You know I'm going.
Yep. And Juliana, as you are getting ready to climb aboard the dinghy, Saskia approaches you. Are you sure you want to go over there? It's dark after all. If it is a troll, and it sounds like it is, it's going to be very dangerous.
Juliana looks to Saskia and she kind of pats the bow on her back. Don't worry. I'll make sure to stay away from it and have the men go after it up front. There's no reason to worry. And she gives Saskia a smile.
Okay, I guess I just don't understand why you feel the need to go.
Well, my compatriots are also going to on this stroll. I feel that it is necessary to have some extra hands when facing it. I would not want to go about the rest of my mission alone if they decided to perish if I was not around.
And Saskia looks over at the captain and at the second mate, and she turns and she kind of purses her lips a little bit and nods. I understand that. If they were to go ashore, if they were in danger, and she motions over to her captain and second mate, I would have to go too. I would have to back them up. That makes sense to me.
Juliana nods. Good. I am glad that you are so close to these men. It definitely makes life better to have compatriots such as these, and I want to make sure mine survive as well.
Well, be safe. From what I understand, Alwyn is going to go with you. The captain has ordered it.
Well, at least the extra hand will make sure that we succeed. She looks a bit nervous, but she'll get down into the boat and again look up to Saskia and give her a wave. Pray for us.
And as you're climbing down into the boat, Saskia smiles and squeezes your shoulder and walks away as Alwyn approaches and gives you a hand down into the boat. You stay behind me, lady. You understand? You stay behind all of us. It's not a place that's right for you. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dirty. I don't suppose you've ever come across a troll before, have you?
No, I have not come across a troll. I do hope not to very many times in my life. But I will make sure to stay behind the rest of you. That you have no argument from me.
And he looks over at Durak. Dwarf, have you faced a troll before?
Oh, aye. Not in the current state that I am, but trolls sometimes got in me hold when I was still there. Took them down pretty easy, lots of us with crossbows and fire. Don't have that now, though. Just these. Points to his axes.
Very good. And you? And he nods over at Lucien. Have you ever faced a troll?
No, I've never faced a troll. But I don't see why it should be much different from any other foe. You see him, you catch him between the eyes and he's dead.
Ha! Durakis laughs. That's the spirit, manling. Not that you're right, though.
And Lucien just looks over at Durak. I know, but What can I do in a time like this, you know? Might as well try to boost morale.
So, Doc, I know about trolls out of character, but in character, should I roll troll lore to know anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. Is it going to be common plus 20 usual thing?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. I think I'm gonna have to just. I don't think I see a lore one, so I think I'm just gonna have to roll int. Plus.
There's a lore on the bottom. It's under grouped and advanced skills. If you go
Oh no,
on
I
the sheet
see
anyway.
that, but you can. Let's see if I can roll off the sheet. Oh, I can. I'm stupid. Okay. Derp. Oh, let's roll the sheet. Just a second. If it will let me. Yeah, it's not letting me roll off the sheet. I'm just gonna do int plus 25. So 5 in it, and then 20 for being normal. I do know about trolls.
You do. So why don't you go ahead and read that to the group as you get ready to board the dinghy.
Okay. So as we're boarding, and they asked me about trolls. All right, manlings, listen close. Here's what I know about trolls. So, filthy foul orcs is what they are. They like to make nests with goblins and orcs at time to time, but sometimes live among themselves. All kinds of different one of them, depending on where they are. Mountain trolls, river trolls, even heard of some sand trolls, but never been that far south to know. Anywho, river trolls, gross sorts, live next to rivers. They like to make hoards and lairs, lots of grisly trophies and other treasures, keep in caves. They're pretty stupid, they like to eat, but they got some feral intelligence about them. As long as we're smart, we can kill them pretty easy, but the buggers do regenerate. So shooting them between the eyes, they're likely to just go ahead, rip the arrow out, and not give a shite about it. Anywho, best to try to take them down quick. Stay on top of their toes. They're slow and clumsy, but they're strong as a bugger. They'll knock you out, smash you into pieces as they hit you. Like to wield clubs, bones, anything they get their hands on, really. Or just hit you with their bare hands. And the river trolls like to vomit. Now, normally that sounds just a gross feature, but if they throw up on you, they got powerful stomach fluid. It'll melt you. I saw a friend of mine once, many years ago, try to fight a troll in close quarters. Troll threw up on him. We were picking up pieces of his bones after the fight. So, don't get cocky, stay out of his eyes, and go for his legs. And when we're done with the bugger, we're gonna burn him. Fire is good against these sorts with the trolls.
And as you finish explaining to them your vast knowledge of trolls, the different types of trolls, Alwyn walks by and he slaps you on the shoulder. Well, I guess you do know trolls, dwarf. I'm glad you're here at least.
As am I. Can't wait to kill this booger.
Well, let's hope we can kill him. They're hard to take down, and he addresses everyone now. I've been on this river a long time. Faced 2 trolls I have. 2. In all the years I've been here, this will be the 3rd. Luckily, I'm still here to tell you about them. But I have some old mates that aren't here. They aren't here because they didn't take this troll seriously enough. Just like the dwarf said there. You get too close, and that troll vomits up on you. Well, let's hope the worst thing that happens is he destroys your armor, your weapons. melts them with all his bile, stinking foul, acidic bile. Chunks of food come flying up with it. Practically blinds you, it does. But if we play it smart, and we do this the right way, well, we might get out of this alive tonight. Does anyone need anything before we make our way over to those banks?
If they do have a weakness to fire, if I have something to light my arrows on fire when we get towards it, that will be the most useful.
And he smiles as you said that, and he slings a pouch from around his shoulder, like a satchel, a bag, and he opens it up, smiling, shows it to you, and it's filled with rags and flint and bolts that he was going to put into that he was going to use over there. I've got you, miss. We will definitely have flames. That is one of the best ways to kill a troll.
Good. And she'll to do this, I'm guessing she just kind of wraps the cloth around the arrowheads to get them prepared, right?
Sure, yeah, you can do that right now.
Yeah, as they're riding in the boat, she's going to take some of the cloth and start preparing some of the arrows she has in her quiver, just getting them ready. And she marks each one that's kind of ready to go.
And the captain walks up to everyone. I want you all to be safe. I need Alwyn to come back. He belongs on this boat. So please, any hint of trouble, you all get out of there. You get out of there right away.
We will.
Alwyn looks at the captain and nods his head. And Alwyn starts making his way down into the dinghy. So you all cram into the dinghy, the four of you, and the water is still, but the dinghy rocks back and forth with your shifting weight inside of it. The water sounds louder now that you're closer to it, but it's still black. You can't see beneath the sheer surface. And Alwyn starts rowing towards the banks of the shore. And as you arrive to the banks of the shore, the boat hits the shallows, and Alwyn pulls it up and ties it off to a nearby stump. And you can see the remains of a destroyed ship, a boat, river boat that had several different levels, and it was run aground. Parts of it are on fire. And the fire just glows across the wood, the railing, the decks of the boat as you hit the shore.
Juliana steps out of the boat, brushing herself off as she gets up. Not really used to wearing the chain. She kind of shoulders it as best as she can. She looks towards the boat that's on fire, looks back to the others. So, are we going to see if we can follow the tracks to see if there are any survivors, or see what we can do with this boat?
Oh, all the survivors are bloody dead. We're going after the troll, though.
All right. Well, she kind of looks a bit nervously to Lucian. I guess we're going after a troll.
Well, my initial thought was actually to investigate the boat a little bit. There might not be anyone on there, but you never know what is on there.
Well, I'd wager it's up to the first mate, since he's the one in charge here.
And Alwyn, as you were talking, he was already kind of just kneeling down, looking at the ground, squinting and looking into the dark at the boat. And he stands up and turns around and looks at you guys. Well, what's it going to be? We going to check out this boat? Or are we going to look for tracks?
I think that maybe we should check out the boat quickly. See if there's anything of interest. Then we can follow these tracks. Because if
I
we...
say if nothing
Oh, go ahead.
If nothing else, the boat is at least providing a means of fire. Can always grab something, some half-burnt wood, perhaps use as torches or whatever we need.
Well, if you need torches, then go ahead and take them, but I can see in the dark, manling. If you trust me enough, I can take us where I need to go.
It's not a matter of trust or distrust at this point. It's merely a little more comforting if I can see with my own eyes as well.
Well, do as you will then. He looks around and is going to start looking for some tracks to follow.
Juliana will make her way over towards the boat to start investigating.
Okay, so Juliana and Lucian, go ahead and make. I almost had spot hidden. I'm thinking of Call of Cthulhu now. Go ahead and make your perception tests.
Any modifier?
You know what? Because it is dark out here and you don't currently have torches, there's not going to be any modifier.
No fire helping?
So it'll be a flat test.
Ugh.
Yeah, fire wouldn't have helped that anyways. So you're walking up and you don't spot an easy way in, just from immediately looking. But then Alwyn comes up behind you. And Alwyn comes up behind you and says, "Yeah, right here, look." And as he says, look, you can see where some boards have been pulled apart and fallen down. That gives access into the boat area.
Oh, that, yes, I definitely spotted this before too. And, she'll kind of go in afterwards.
And Alwyn's looking around, and you can see him coming off to the side, and he squints his eyes into the dark. As he gets closer to the flames, there's a little more light, and he looks to the side of the boat. He says, it was the mistress. The boat, it was the mistress. As if that means something to you. But it's really just him talking out loud to himself.
Juliana kind of looks to him, looks towards where he's looking, and then kind of passes on, looking for anything useful within the boat itself.
Okay. Dorak, go ahead and make your perception test with your regular plus 20 since you can see in the dark.
Alright then. Wazik!
Okay, so you're walking through and the mud and foliage and dirt and everything else around here, rocks, have been disturbed so much that you don't notice any specific tracks, at least not right here, not in the immediate area that you're in as you walk around. Lucien and Juliana, go ahead and make another perception test. And since you're closer and inside to the flames now, it's brighter, you can get plus 10. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So, Juliana, as you're looking around, you see what looks to be a hatch that's propped open by something. You can see that it's ajar and that there's something stuck causing the hatch to remain open.
She's gonna go over closer and investigate. I think I found something. There's a hatch that's been pushed open. She'll kind of lean down and pull the hatch fully open.
And as you pull the hatch fully open, Juliana, you immediately startle as you see a body lying there. A dead body, obviously, by its coloration, by the blood on it, by the lack of any movement. There is obviously no life in this body sitting here. And that's when, Lucien, you look around and you notice several more bodies. And you guys realize that there are several dead bodies all around you now.
Juliana will
What?
let out a yelp and kind of back up. Ah! Oh, goodness. They are all dead.
Lucien, looking around left and right, looks at Juliana in the eyes and arcs an eyebrow to her. Yes, I can see they're dead. They don't... Do they look like they died because of a crash?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception test with your plus 20, since you're up close and investigating that specifically.
We lost the manling.
Yeah. Did you hear me?
Did it not go through? I rolled.
Oh,
I
there it
see
is.
it. Oh, there
Oh.
it is.
Oh, okay.
Now
Someone's.
he's back.
Oh, okay. There it is.
I get a hiccup.
Yeah, I guess so. It stalled. But anyways, Lucien, as you're investigating the bodies and looking at them specifically to see how they died, you actually noticed something a little odd. You notice the different style of dress in some of the bodies. Some of the bodies appear to have been killed by black powder weapons. They're shot in their chest. Some of them have been stabbed. It almost looks as though some of them were fighting each other.
Lucian kneels down closer to one of the bodies immediately next to him and notices that this one appears to have been stabbed. And he looks to Alwyn, calls just a sharp little whistle.
And Alwyn looks over and he leaves, the planks and whatever else he was picking up and looking at, and walks over to you. Yes, Lucian.
This poor bloke here looks like he was stabbed to death. And he points over to another one next to him. This one appears to have been shot in the chest.
And Alwyn looks around, and then he looks up and looks out at the horizon, looks at the bank, the water. We might have a bigger problem than trolls. Pirates. Looks like there was a fight here.
I feared as much. Well, if it was pirates, there's probably nothing left on this ship of any value or use anyway. Probably best be off.
Yes. Hopefully it's just going to be a troll that we are dealing with and not pirates out here. Someone should probably let the captain know on the ship that this might be a trap of some sort.
And then you see Alwyn go and grab a plank that has fire on it. And he puts the fire out with a little bit of dirt and puts his leather cloak around it to where it's just glowing embers. And he walks over by the boat and stands on the banks on the shore there. And you see him blow on the embers so that they light up and glow brighter. And he does that several more times at different paces. And then he just drops it and walks back. I let the captain know. Pirates in these waters.
Good. I at least feel better. Hopefully there will be nothing sneaking up on them. Us, that is another matter.
Excuse me.
Only things that sneak up on slayers are dead things. They just don't know it yet.
Well, let's hope that is true.
And go ahead and make your perception test again, Durak.
Ah, Wazik.
And Durak, in all the excitement of the possible fight with a river troll, is just so giddy that he's looking around frantically for anything and probably bypassing everything in the process. But Alwyn comes around and he says, "Look, here, right here." And he points to the ground in the mud. And he points down and it says, "Drag marks. You see it now?"
Aye, manling, I see it. That looks like the work of a troll for sure.
And Alwyn reaches into his bag and pulls out a proper torch. He runs over to the boat, sticks his torch in the flames, lights it up, and comes back. He said, "All right, well, are we going to follow this trail wherever it goes then?"
Juliana nods.
Aye.
Well, This is what we came here for. Might as well. And she'll take out her bow.
Okay, Juliana takes out her bow. I'm sure everyone else is getting ready. And I'm just grabbing something else in the background here. And that is a yes, Lucian, you can definitely do that. Okay. Okay, so with the shore behind you, your dinghy, your lifeline to your boat, the moon giving you whatever light you can get, the flames off of the Mistress burning on the banks there. Alwyn pulls a sword out in one hand and has his torch in the other hand and starts leading you guys down to where the drag marks have ended around a rocky outcrop, and it looks to be the entrance to a cave.
Ah, bollocks.
This doesn't look... Well, I guess this looks promising. Does it not, Doc?
Did say trolls like caves. You shouldn't have expected any less.
True. Still, let us keep eyes out. I do not want anything sneaking up behind us. At that, she'll kind of glance back.
Lucian turns to Durak. How far in can you see?
Oh. I'd wager about 20 a year yards.
Any sign of movement?
Direct squints and looks in. Nay, not right now.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a good thing. Means the troll's not waiting for us. Never want to deal with a smart troll, them being stupid is one of the only big problems they have.
Well, suppose it is smart and we go in the cave and it goes in after us. Cuts off our
Well, then we kill it anyway. Not much to be done for it, manling.
Durak, as you look into the cave, you see jagged rocks. You see a small stream. You see moss and mold growing on the walls and the floor. The moonlight lights up just enough for you to get a glimpse to where you don't see anything moving in there. And at the entrance of the cave, there's a stale smell in the air. Juliana, you're startled just a little bit when some bats startle and fly out of the cave.
She'll kind of jump to the side. holding her bow tighter. She inches closer to Lucian. But
And the sound of the river as you enter the cave gets just a little further and a little more distant.
I hope we make this quick. I do not like being in spaces such as these.
Oh, why is that, womanling? You don't like cold, dark spaces?
No, I am not a fan of dark places. She kind of swallows hard as she makes her way in. She's looking at the ground as she walks, carefully placing her feet.
Oh, this place wouldn't make too great of a hold. Not a bad outpost, I wager. It needs a little bit of tidying up and craftsmanship, but wouldn't be too bad with a bit of changes.
Well, if you're a fan of creating a hold out of this place, then you go right ahead. But maybe once we're finished this mission.
Lucian kind of looks at both of them and just flashes a kind of a goofy grin and ribs Juliana. I know I personally enjoy warm, damp places. And he winks at Juliana.
She wrinkles her nose. This is not the time.
Might be the perfect time for him.
Well, then he can go off and do it on his own.
I'm only trying to ease your mind, love.
I appreciate the thought, but it is not working at the moment. But thank you, Lucian.
Always the best for you.
She gives him a nervous smile as she continues to look at the ground, being very careful with where she places her feet.
So as you cautiously walk deeper into the cave, your feet squish in the grime and muck that covers the floor. Remembering back to the bats that flew out, you can only imagine what... Once in a while, a breeze brings a smell right up into your nostrils. The smell of decaying plant matter. The foul remains of whatever foods have been eaten. It stinks. It burns your nose. You can almost taste it. Alwyn looks over at you. All of you. Are you gonna be okay in here? As his torch flickers and small particles of flame drop off and hit the floor with a hiss.
I will be fine. Just motivation to get out of here faster.
I'm fine, manling. Lived in a cave for 80 years.
Yes, well, my worries are not with you, dwarf. It's with... And he motions over to Juliana and Lucian. It's with those two.
Oh, they'll be fine. They've been through plenty of worse than this. Even their own bedchambers are pretty nasty.
And he's, scrunches his nose up just a little bit when you say that, and shakes his head, turns around, and starts walking forward again. Everyone go ahead and make a perception test.
Do we get just plus 10 or plus 0?
You get plus 10s right now.
I get 20 for good eyes. Or is this
Yeah,
not
you'll-
an eyesight based one?
No, you'll get your 20, yes, for your perceptions.
Do not matter. Just bad.
Okay.
Juliana will quickly knock an arrow and aim towards, in the distance, in the shadow. There's something there.
And you can see Alwyn, he has already stopped too. His hand is gripping the sword. I saw it as well. Something up there. I saw something dark in the shadows moving.
I'm not sure
How
what
big
it
was
is.
it?
I can't be sure. It was a brief glimpse. I got it out of the corner of my eye. But when I saw her tense up, knock that arrow, I knew I had seen something as well. What
Point
did you
out
see,
to me,
girl?
Manling.
And Alwyn asks Juliana, what did you see?
I just saw the same as you. Some sort of form, moving in the distance. I could not make out exactly what it was, but there's something in these caves. I do not know if it sees us, but we should be careful with our approach.
Well, we might be lucky. If it sees us and hasn't attacked us, it's not a troll. A troll, I believe, would come straight away after us.
Could be pirates hiding out in these caves.
Where did you see it, womanling? Point it out.
Right there, and she'll kind of gesture with the arrow, kind of pointing towards it. Follow the arrow. It was right there. It's where I saw it.
Durek's gonna eye test it and he just starts marching off that way.
And Durak, you start marching off that way. Alwyn shakes his head and starts coming up right behind you. Be careful, dwarf. You can't just go rushing through these caves.
This is Slayer's work, lad. Don't mind me. Just keep yourself safe.
And you start walking through the cave, and you realize that it's a little winding and a little bigger than you originally thought it was going to be. You start making your way through, and the ceiling gets higher and the walls get wider, further apart. The little rivulets of water running down the middle almost turn into a stream. And you start making your way. Let me do something here. You start making your way in past the entrance and realize that there are other areas of the cave, darker areas. And to get there, you have to squeeze through. You have to push yourself past the slimy rocks, the jagged edges. Alwyn points to one of those entrances. He said, "Well, dwarf, you're in such a rush. How about you get through there?"
I step aside. He approaches it and sizes it up and starts to clamber through it.
And due to your size and due to your history of living in caves and under mountains, you make quick work of it without any issues, without any difficulties. And you end up on the other side. Alwyn calls back. How is it over there?
It's dark and smells like cave. But I'm not dead, so if you come through now, you won't be either.
And Alwyn looks over to Lucian. Well, go ahead.
All right then, fine. Lucian will make his way over to the crack and make his way through.
Yeah, and Lucian, I want you to go ahead and let's see, probably more of athletics doesn't seem right. Trying to contort and twist through a narrow area.
Can I make some suggestions?
Yes, absolutely. Please do.
So it may be climb. Climb could be one.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's actually looking like about the only one here, unless there's like a specialist skill that he happens to have that's like that has to do with that sort of thing.
Go ahead and make a test to get through there. And go ahead and explain that as you make your way through the narrow crags there, Lucian.
So Lucian, he makes his way over to where it narrows and realizes it's much smaller than he had anticipated originally. And so he kind of lays down and turns on his side and reaches out with one hand and begins to just drag himself through while one arm is pinned underneath and just dragging. So he's kind of kicking his way through and dragging with one hand. And he looks up to Durak and extends his only free hand. Hey, how about a little help here?
So I'll play on my height, manling. And then he reaches out and grabs with one hand and yanks him through.
It most certainly was not a play on height, but I wish wit would have prevailed there, and it could.
So, Yulian, after seeing Durak make it through and watching Lucian go through, getting a little bit of advice from Alwyn, he tells you it's time for you to make your way through. I'm going to stand back here and make sure it's safe on this end while you make your way to your friends.
All right, and she'll get down
And you'll get
and start climbing.
plus 10 to your climb ability test because of you watching the other two go through already and getting an idea for how it's done.
So just a 10, or would that be 30 total?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so it's going to be 20. So your normal plus 10 for the darkened vision and the dampened terrain and everything instead of the plus 20, but then plus 10 for watching them, so it's plus 20. Yep.
Okay. So Juliana, she kind of looks down, looks at the crack. She actually takes off the quiver that she has in her back, realizing that it's going to be too bulky. And as she kind of crawls through and twists through, she's putting those items first and making her way through, eventually, and fairly easily kind of making her way through the small space and getting up on the other side. And she kind of looks down at herself, wipes some of the dirt off, seeing it smudge a bit, and you can see her face. It tightens a bit. She looks a bit disgusted. And coming into this space, again, kind of that nervousness, that's just kind of the darkness pressing down. You can see her eyes get a bit wide. All right, that does not something I'd like to do too many times more, but all right.
And Alwyn calls through. Are you okay? Did you make it?
Yes, I did. We are just waiting for you on this side.
And he is holding onto his sword and his torch, and he looks down and he sheathes his sword, puts it back in so that he could have a free hand, but still use his torch. And then he's going to use climb to get through. And you see him coming through, and it looks like he's just scampering through. Not even one of the edges of the rocks touch him. It's like he's slinking and writhing his way through, holding the torch. The flame you can see as the light surrounds him as he comes to the entrance to where you guys are. He's just basically sucking it in and easing his way all the way through the rocks very quickly and without any difficulty at all.
Were you a dwarf before, manling?
A dwarf? No. Not so honored. But I grew up on these riverbanks. I grew up near Altdorf, climbing in these caves. Spent my childhood running in and out of places like this. I guess it's just part of my nature.
Move proper through like an old miner.
Yep, just reliving my youth, I guess, as I came through. And he reaches down and pulls his sword back out. He holds up the torch and starts making his way down through here again. And as he makes his way down here, as you all make your way down, the fetid stink, you come to an area that has a pool of water, and it's dark and murky and thick, and there's plant foliage just floating in it. Go ahead and make perception tests. And all three of you, as you get down here, immediately, the first thing that you notice, the first thing that you all see are the bones. There's bones and filth everywhere on the ground. There's bones half hanging out of the water and onto the little shoreline right here. There's torn clothing. There's old swords, rusted, rotting off into the corner. There are just piles of things, of junk, of stuff, all foul and decaying, scattered and strewn all over this area here.
takes a look around, kicking over some of the swords, looking at kind of the torn clothing, bones, and again her nose will scrunch up a bit. She's looking to it, reminding her a lot of the crypts of her family, though a bit more dirty at this point. She kind of looks around. Do you think this is its lair?
And Alwyn looks around. Yes, I do think this is his lair. Look at this. And he goes and he points at a large pile of what looks to be excrement. This is definitely its lair.
So where is it? In the waters, maybe? And she looks to Duroc. What do you think?
Well, a troll only leaves its lair when it's going to get something to eat. Or mate, not that I've ever had the pleasure of seeing that. I don't want to. But given where it came from, it looks at the pool. Only place it could leave is through there. You want my opinion?
I do.
We wait. It'll come back to its lair. It won't expect us to be here. And then we capture it, kill it, right here in its lair, cut it to pieces.
Juliana looks a bit hesitant, kind of looks around. Where would we set up the ambush? Do you think, how could it squeeze through that small space?
Yes, my thoughts exactly.
It wouldn't. He points over to the water. It's dumb, but it can probably hold its breath. This probably leads to the outside.
That makes sense. I mean, we could wait for it. How long do you think it might take?
Trolls do not go, well, from their lairs for far too long. After all, it sleeps here. It's already night time. It'll probably come back soon. I'd expect before morning. Trolls don't like sunlight. There's plenty of nooks and crannies for us to hide about. Then we catch the bugger when he comes back and slay him.
Alright. I guess if you think that is the best strategy, I'll follow you on this one.
Let me ask you something, Dirk. Do you know of their sleeping pattern?
Never had the pleasure of watching one sleep, but since they don't like the sunlight, I'd imagine it comes and sleeps during the day, goes out at night or in the evening, when the sun's low.
Yes, kind of much as I figured. I wonder if there's any way that we might be able to come out as it's sleeping and just light it on fire. But then, of course, we'd have to block it from getting into the water.
It's
Better to slice it and set it on fire while you're trying to kill it. Because it will jump in the water. Trolls are big, strong beasts, and they're stupid, but it's got a fairer intelligence. If it doesn't think it can win, it will leave.
Does anyone maybe have some oils or anything like that? Maybe we can go to water and then set it on fire.
And Alwyn looks at you. I've got some, but not enough to light this on fire. And he looks across the water. It was mainly to light some rags for our arrows.
I wonder if perhaps we save the oil and whilst it's sleeping, either douse it or throw it on the troll, light an arrow and shoot it from afar, and then commence to attacking.
Shoot it from afar, and he looks around the space you guys are in. Well, exactly how far do you think you're going to get away and be able to shoot it? I mean, we're right here in its lair. There's not a lot of wiggle room in here.
And I don't want to fight a bloody troll that's on fire. As exciting as that would be, that means everyone else catches on fire. Burning to death is not a way for a slayer to die.
That is true. I would suggest maybe just we can use the oils maybe, and she points at the shoreline. If we put the oils there, we light that on fire, we can at least block it from escaping.
Yeah, or perhaps use it to even trap it into a smaller space.
Keep it behind while we fire at it.
And Alwyn is looking at you. I don't think you quite understand. And he reaches into his satchel and pulls out a small jar of oils. This is it. This is what I have. This will barely cover a foot of ground right here.
I apologize. I expected more, but I need to come up with something.
A distraction, then, perhaps. At least the oil can be a distraction. With the fire that it produces.
Yes. Darak, what do you think? I know you don't want to be set on fire, so...
Here's what I think. You, Wazix, go over there, wait for that thing to come out, and for me and Olwyn to start fighting it. You use the oils to light your bows and arrows, to light your arrows more than your bows. To light your arrows on fire, hit it with flaming arrows. That'll be more than enough to help take the bugger down if we're all doing our part. And then, we should be able to just set it on fire once it's dead. Burn the corpse, make sure it doesn't come back. That's what I think. A lot of us waits here, keeps to the shadows, and attacks it when it comes in.
Alright, that sounds like the best plan.
Whatever you do, and he looks at all the rest of them, don't try to fight it one-on-one. Let me do that if it comes to it. Make sure you're always giving it multiple people to fight with. Because if it gets you one-on-one, Troll's bigger than you are, even if it's stupid. If it hits you one time, you'll be a splatter on the wall.
Alright.
Hang on, what's that?
What?
What you hear, Manling?
Lucian spins around on his heels and begins looking out behind.
Juliana knocks an arrow. What is it?
Shh.
Okay.
Stop. Don't move. It's almost like water lapping up on land. Or, no wait. It's more like a mop or swabbing of a deck. Something wet slapping.
Juliana stays quiet, kind of prepares an arrow just in case, watching out towards where Lucian pointed out.
Hang on.
Push past them, try to anyway.
Yeah, she'll let him.
Lucian begins to move a little bit out of the way, but he's trying to angle more over here so he can see that crack as best as he can.
Yeah, and you go back and you look back there, but without a torch, with Alwyn using the torch down here, it's hard to get a very clear image of anything in this chamber here. You can barely make out the cragged rocks, the jagged rocks, the wet floor, with just the dimmest, faintest of light just barely showing through the narrow passageway through.
Lucian looks to Durak and just raises his chin. And
Durak will scoot over a bit and peek through.
And Durak, you see an empty chamber. You see an empty chamber with the exception of one spot in the corner over here. Something slapping around on the ground. Something squirming almost. Something in the dark.
And Durak nods over to it and starts taking very slow steps to see if he can get closer to see what it is.
And as you get closer, and you can make out the large leathery wings of what looks like a bat. A bat that has maybe fallen from the ceiling and is now fluttering about, twisting and writhing on the ground, caught in the muck and the mire, its wings just slapping the wetness against the ground. Just slap, slap, slap.
Yeah, and he looks at the bat, and then his eyes get wide, and it dawns on him, and he looks up at the ceiling.
You look up at the ceiling and you don't see anything. But then it's... Ah! And you hear a splash of water.
Yuliana turns around immediately, trying to see what that sound was.
And Yuliana, the first thing you notice is it's dark.
Both you get up here now!
What? She'll kind of hurry back. Listen, come on. Lucian!
And Durak starts looking around wildly and looking up at the ceiling, looking all around. That's not something a troll would do. Not a stupid troll, anyway.
do you think that there's perhaps more than one?
Dunno. That's still not like him, though. Don't make any sense.
It's something else. We saw shadows out there, and now when he's gone, there's something else, obviously.
Get over here, manling.
And as you're backing up into that cavern there, Lucian, you hear the water rustling. You hear the water splash just a little bit as there's a squish. As the squish gets louder, the water gets louder, you see a large hulking mass in the shadows crawl up out of the water. And it starts looking around. And you see it dragging something in its left hand. And you can't make out what any of it is.
Lucian, seeing just barely any movement through there, the mass and the shadow, and hearing that, just starts shaking his head, and his lip curls as all he can do is just point his bow and arrow that way, and he just whispers, "Ah, gods, fuck me."
Give back your Wazak. I've got it.
And with that, you see in the shadows something turn its head sharply in your direction.
Yuliana
Yeah.
moves and she's gonna knock an arrow towards the sound.
Yeah, so Durak sees it and he feels all kinds of hate welling up inside him. Hates trolls, hates Urks, hates Groby, hates it all, but he's gonna try to, unless it starts heading towards him, he's gonna try to keep quiet for just a moment because he knows the manlings might not be up to the task.
And Durak, from where you are, you can see a little better. You see the silhouette of what you recognize as a river troll, and it's on its haunches right now by the edge of the water. It's got something in its hands and it's eating it. It's eating something large, bringing it up to its mouth, and you can hear the crunching. And he's snorting and breathing heavily as he eats. Occasionally, his head pops up and looks around and goes back to eating.
Yeah, Durak looks over to the other two and let me start it. I'm going. And he starts moving towards the troll quietly for now, but if he's seen, he's gonna break out into a sprint.
Lucian will turn to Yuliana, and he puts his arrow back in his quiver and hands the quiver over to her. He pulls out his hand axe, and he just tells her, "I'm not going to be able to get a hit on him from here. There's just no way. I can barely see. Durak and I will go up there. If anything happens to us, or if you hear anything from behind you, move up toward the water. In worst case scenario, swim. It's the best I can tell you."
Swim. I can't leave you. But she'll just kind of shake her head. I'll try to help.
And as you whisper that to her, Durak and Lucian, as you get closer, if you want to try and get any closer than this without making any noise, you're going to need to make stealth tests.
Lucian just puts his hand on Durak's shoulder. "Well, so we just go for..."
And as you do that, it surprises Durak a bit, and he kicks a rock rather loudly and looks at you and... Aye, now we are.
And after you kick that rock, there's a snorting sound. And you hear some movement on the other side there.
Yeah, full sprint at this point, going right at him.
Okay, let's roll initiative. So let's add. Why is it doing this? How come it's not automatically going into the turn order?
Weird.
Okay, well, I'll just add everyone in manually. All right, so it's going to be Lucian, Duroc,
Juliana and Troll. Is it going off SL or actual roll?
I think SL.
Yeah, Juliana and Troll.
Yep, Juliana and Troll. Yep, that's the order right there. Brother Lucian, you are first to act in this. The Troll stomps and snorts as he realizes there's something down here. And you can see him toss away whatever he was eating onto the ground as he turns to face the direction of the noise.
Lucian will move past Duroc. And then he just kind of bounces for a second on the balls of his heels, and he just sprints right.
Right for it. Okay, then because it is larger than you, well, it's not aggressive yet, so you don't need to make a fear test, but had it been showing signs of aggression towards you and attacking you, you would have had to make a fear test, but you don't have to do that this time since you're essentially surprising it and attacking it. And he snorts and almost looks surprised when he sees a man running around the corner at him.
Yeah, I have his hand axe out, so can I make that move and then...
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and attack the river troll. So it's basically melee versus melee. Weapon skills is essentially the same thing, so we're just doing weapon skill versus weapon skill.
Right. So not melee basic?
I mean, yeah, we can do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. We'll do it.
I mean, because that's the skill that I'm going to be using anyway.
Yeah, we'll do it by the book. I mean, your weapon skill should also be the same as your melee basic, right?
No. I mean,
No?
The base, it is.
Okay. So melee basic. So you win. That gives you a bonus. What's it called? Not initiative, but
Advantage.
advantage. You get an advantage. So we'll use the green one for advantage. One there to show that you have one advantage. I don't know if you read the rules, Lucian, since you're new to this game, but you can use advantage to give you plus 10 to any roll that you use the advantage during a combat. So basically, you can store them and stockpile them, but anytime you take a hit, you lose all the advantage you've collected.
Okay. Is there a place on the sheet that I can note that?
Note what?
I'll just mark it on your token to keep track of
Mark
it.
it on
The
your
green one.
token. See
Oh,
the,
yep, okay.
Yep.
Alright. So then I'm just rolling damage.
You're rolling, yeah. You were rolling a melee to hit, and now you're going to be rolling. See, now you roll your weapon.
Is it at the top of the...
What do you mean?
I'm just looking at the,
Oh, I believe the weapons are on the sheets, unless you guys made your own.
Nope, I did not.
Okay.
No problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, you would roll off your sheet,
And that's just a straight, no mod.
unless you just want to use your. I believe your weapon is based on your weapon skill. You could do that too. Yeah, and there's never any bonus modifiers for.
Wait, whoops. That's just for just showing the damage there, I guess.
Yeah, because we already know you hit, but we also want to see the SL because it's damage too. So basically, you did 7, 8, 9 points of damage because you add the SL, and you hit him in the body. So you go running up on the river troll, swinging wildly with your axe, and it just plunks, hits him straight in the body for 7. But the troll has thick skin, which gives him a natural armor of 2, so it's 5.
So Lucian runs from the shadows up on this troll, and with his axe raised, he just lunges and strikes the troll, and as he realizes what he's actually hitting and what's in front of his hand, he kind of looks up for a second and just goes, "Oh, fuck."
Okay, it's Durok's turn.
So Durok is he raises his axes and then just bellows out in the cave, Kazuki, Kazuki, ah! And just starts sprinting down the pathway as fast as he can. That's as far as I can get on this turn, unfortunately. I'm not moving very quick.
Oh, that's your run?
My run is 12.
Oh.
He's short.
Okay, Juliana.
Juliana, it's like dark in here, right?
It is dark in there.
Oh. She's going to make steps kind of towards, but kind of still heeding what Lucian said. She can't really make her way that far even into this place. Shoot. What's, I forget how far I can move. Based, I think it's like 30. Based on speed. It's like 30 feet, right?
Yes. It's kind of like The Witcher. You have your walk, and then you double it for sprint, and then double that for run or something like that.
8. Okay, so I can move. She's gonna kind of walk up to here, still kind of keeping the air unnocked. Still can't see a damn thing. Her hands are kind of shaking. She's just waiting to see some sort of hulking mass of a shadow of approach. She did hear kind of clanging from the next part of the cave over. So she doesn't really know what's happening. So not much she can do right now besides panic.
Okay. And then it is the troll's turn. The troll, after getting hit in the belly with an axe, just grunts and snarls and then looks down at the man standing in front of him, and you can see a large club raise up in the air. Even in the darkness, the silhouette, you can see this club coming down on you. So it's an opposed melee again.
Damn.
You should probably re-roll that. Pro tip.
Yep.
What you gonna do there, Brother Lucian?
Reroll. Use your fortune.
I'm gonna use I'm gonna use my fortune to re-roll that.
Okay.
Here's the open, kid.
Okay. Which gives you another success advantage. So he comes raising his club up in the air and screeches out as he brings the club down on top of you, but he is unable to strike you as you kind of bat the club away with your axe.
Lucian, after hitting the club away, calls back to Durak, "Little help here!" And then prepares to take another swing.
Yep, and it's back to Lucian.
My God.
So Lucian, you strike at it again with your axe.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead and roll with your axe.
Yep, getting there.
Oh, okay, sorry. So it doesn't do anything, really. After you gather your balance and get it back after deflecting his blow, you swing your axe at him. You hit him, but it's with the flat end of your axe, and it just kind of slides off of him and does nothing. Durak.
All right. I need a GM decision. Is it gonna be base to bases where I need to be with him? Basically, because I can get there. Now our tokens will be touching, but I technically won't be able to touch to get center on him. So if I go here, am I engaged with him?
Make an athletics test with a plus 20.
Give it to me, manling.
Durak, you go running up to him, and you're trying to get to him as fast as you can, knowing that Lucian is standing there fighting this thing alone. You go running up to him, not quite able to reach him, so you put your big feet down into the mud with your momentum behind you and slide into him and basically get right into contact with him next to Lucian as you slide up through the mud.
Ah, come here, you big wazak! And I'm just gonna... So that would be... I would want to charge, and... as is foretold, I intend to use resilience And I will use it to make my roll a nat 1.
Oh my god. So you go ahead and explain what it is you're doing. What's Durok's thought process? What is happening here as he goes sliding in, crashing into this battle?
So Durok's sole focus is redemption of his shame, and that only comes through death. But to truly be redeemed, he has to give every effort to not die, as strange as it is. So he goes in full bore, a madman with both his axes wheeling about, and goes in for a hard slide, knowing he's not going to get there in time if he doesn't. Slides in and comes to one knee to start swinging his axes wildly at this river troll, whirling around, spinning, swinging his axes in circles, just trying to put as much pain on this miserable Urk as he can. So I attacked with both weapons dual wielding. There's a couple of things we got to go through for this one.
Yep.
So both weapons dual wielding. I'm pretty sure the nat 1 is considered a critical success.
It is a critical success.
So it's a critical success. Dual wielded, determine damage as normal, keep the dice roll. If the first strike hits, which it did, you resolve another attack using the first strike but reverse. So the first hit was going to be a nat 1, second hit is a 10. Which is still under my weapon skill, so it still succeed. And then
it's under your weapon skill by four levels.
Yeah.
The second one.
Yeah, and the first one is, I think, 5.
Yep.
And then a crit. So all my defensive rolls are going to suffer a penalty of -10 next turn. I've also got Slayer. I use his toughness bonus as my strength bonus because he's bigger than I am.
Oof. Yeah, and his toughness bonus is 5.
Alright. And if he's larger than me as well, I'm going to multiply all damage by how many steps larger he is.
He's 1 step larger than you, so multiply by 1. So it's going to be the same.
So he's only 1 step larger? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be... Oh, God. So I guess I roll it, and... I'll roll to see, because damage on the... I'm using both the good axes, so it's 8, and I don't know how the criticals... In fact, criticals don't cause additional damage, they just cause a critical... wound, right?
Yes. Let me look up criticals in battle.
I think it has to roll doubles, actually.
Surprise, action forward, take a turn, action attacking. Criticals. Any successful melee or range attack double causes a critical.
Yeah.
A 1 is just an auto success.
Oh, okay. I'm not worried about it.
1 is an auto success. Yep.
I already declared. So let's do the 1. I already declared it. Not gonna cheese for the critical now. But yeah, so pretty much.
But in keeping of the spirit of what you wanted, though, I'll let you take an 11 if you'd like.
I mean, I can if that's not an issue. But
no, it's not an issue because I know what you were trying to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just say an 11, and they both roll 11s because 11. So, it would be, I guess, 2 critical wounds because they're both crits, and then it's weapon damage plus success levels, so 11 and 11.
Yes, it will be 2 criticals.
All right, so let me see. So I'm just trying to get sure the success levels to see because 1 is going to be at base, which is 65, so it's going to be success level 5, and the other one's going to be success levels of 3, because the second one is -20, since I don't have ambidextrous. So SL 5 for the first strike, let's run the figures. So it's going to be 8 damage plus success level 5 plus his toughness bonus. So 18
Jesus Christ.
on the first one.
18 on the first one.
Yeah, minus any armor or toughness, and then
minus 7 for armor and toughness.
And then it's 3 difference on the second one. So it's 8 plus 5 plus 3, which is 16.
Minus 7.
So 9.
Okay.
And then 2 critical wounds.
Okay, so what was the total wounds done?
So the first one we said was 18 minus 7, 11, and I think 11 and 9?
11
Is that
and
what
9,
we said?
So 20.
20?
And 2 criticals.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. You're gonna have to roll for the criticals. So roll. Where did you hit him?
Let me actually roll to see.
Yeah, just
for
roll
both
to
of
see
them.
where you hit. Yeah.
Head for the first one,
Holy shit.
and left arm for the second one.
So you need to roll 1d100 for the head critical wound. $53. Oof. Fractured jaw. With a sickening crunch, pain fills the troll's face as the blow fractures its jaw. It gets 2 stunned condition and suffers the broken jaw, minor injury, and takes an additional 3 wounds. You're keeping track of the number of wounds, right?
We're at 23 right now.
Okay. And roll for the arm critical.
D100.
D100. Yes, D100. 38. You want higher numbers. 38 bleeding hand. It's another 2 wounds. The hand is badly cut, making the grip slippery. Takes a bleeding condition. While suffering that bleeding condition, average plus 20 dexterity test before taking any action that requires something being held in that hand. If you fail, the item slips from your grip. Okay. So he's bleeding, and what were the other ones?
Fractured jaw.
Stunned. Bleeding and stunned.
Mm-hmm.
So the Slayer came in like a dervish with his axes spinning and laid into the troll wildly, hitting it in the head and breaking its jaw, and then hitting it in the hand, causing a huge gash, and then doing 25 points of damage. Is that what we said?
23, because after subtracting armor, toughness from both of them, and then adding the 3 from the jaw, 23 wounds.
Oof. So there's a large, almost like a howl, this guttural, vicious scream as this troll standing there with its club in hand drops to a knee. And the troll is going to make a willpower test. And you can see in the eyes the troll starts to look panicked.
And Durok's having the time of his life swinging his axes around. Take that, you big wazzick! Come on, then!
And then it's Juliana.
Juliana is gonna come to the edge. as far as she can go. Can she see like an outline of this thing from here?
Oh, from there, yes, definitely.
Okay.
You can definitely see the silhouette. You can see Lucin and Duroc standing there.
And she's gonna knock an arrow then and fire at it. I'm guessing no pluses or anything, just straight 0.
Yeah, it's all straight zeros.
Ooh.
Oof. And in his state, he doesn't see it coming. He doesn't, he's not in a position to dodge. So it hits him. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7. So it does 1 damage to him. After it gets through his thick hide and his toughness. And you can hear him just scream out, startled, yelling, especially as the flaming arrow hits him. Hits him and sticks him. He bats it away, knocks it off of him, and he goes to take one final swing. He wants to swing at Lucian, who had come in after him to begin with. So it's opposed melee, Lucian.
Okay. Can I use those advantages?
Yes, you can. And it gives you plus 10 for each advantage you use. So again, he goes to swing at you and is having difficulty. Let me look at something here. Oh my goodness, I might have gotten one thing. Okay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna roll 1d10 at the beginning of its turn. Duroc, you notice that some of the cuts you inflicted on its hand, on its chest, start looking better and start closing right before your eyes. And then it was Lucian's turn, and he did his thing. So you again are able to get a hit in on Lucian. So you do 3 damage to it, getting through its toughness and its thick leathery hide.
Yeah, Lucin just winds up and just, having seen Duroc here just bash away at it, it almost seems to invigorate him, and he just starts, almost like hacking wood, just starts swinging.
And it's back to Duroc again.
Yeah, Duroc's just gonna continue going in and sees the wound start to close and... Oi, manling, womanling, keep on it! It's trying to put itself back together. Not if I have anything to say about it, bugger! And it's gonna just go in hard again with the dual attack with both weapons, just trying to tear this thing to pieces. I should have 2 advantages, one for charging and one for succeeding in action against
Correct.
it.
Yep.
I'm gonna obviously blow both of those on this.
Okay.
So. Melee basic.
Yeah, so opposed.
Oh, I'm gonna give you some
Melee.
corruption, my man. I want to reroll that.
Oh yeah, you better re-roll it.
I am. I want to reroll that. I'll take a corruption. So it's just 1, right?
You get 1 corruption point to
Okay.
get a re-roll.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna roleplay that as just battle fury and hunger, hatred for this enemy. Maybe dilutes his stone soul, and I'm going in for not missing, please. All right, that's better.
Oh, and you have the better SL. So you go in, and he tries to fight you off, and you're able to get in there.
Right, so for the axe, and this is the old one, so it's damage 8 because they're both fine axes. The second attack will miss because it should be 3 SL because I didn't put my plus 20 on it. But the second attack will miss because it would have been a 75, which my second attack would be at a minus 20, so I would have failed the second. But the first one is 8 plus SL 3 plus toughness. So I think we're at 9.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, oh yeah. Once you subtract it, yeah. So another 9 damage.
Yep.
Jeez. And the dwarf slayer comes in and just whack hits the troll in the leg with the axe, and you can just hear the meaty splatter of blood as the troll's axe digs in, or as the dwarf's axe digs in. Then it's Juliana.
Juliana lights another arrow. She doesn't do much last time. She's gonna try and light it up again. Maybe, I don't know if there's any, I don't know, she's not gonna aim, she's just gonna fire. Nope.
Yeah, but it goes. Go ahead.
I'm gonna reroll. I'll spend the fate. Oh no.
Oh no! And as you do that, you pull your bowstring back, and as you pull your bowstring back, it snaps, and it's going to take you your next turn to get your bow restrung if you want to continue using your.
She ends up pulling a bit too hard, really trying to kind of power up this shot, almost trying to get enough strength in it, and she kind of overexerts herself and just snaps or kind of de-strings the bow, having the arrow clatter to the floor.
Hands shaking.
Yeah, she's dark spaces, big troll. She's panicked.
And the troll will continue to go against the foe it's been fighting in Lucian. Oof. And despite it, it still can't It's swinging wildly. It's got this dwarf slayer on one side and Lucian on the other, swinging wildly, but not fighting smartly. Fighting like a dumb trapped animal, not able to make contact with anything.
So Lucian sees the troll apparently begin to panic, arms swinging around, and he's easily able to maneuver himself out of the way of the swinging club, and then he rears back to really try to put his might into his next swing.
Oh,
Oh no.
roll low.
Low
'Cause
thoughts.
This troll's ready to rock.
Low thoughts.
Nope.
And you go to swing at him, and he finally catches a lucky break as he's wildly swinging his club around. It catches your axe. As it catches your axe, the momentum swings through, and with a critical success on defense like that, he actually gets a free attack back on you. He follows through with the momentum after knocking your club away and attacks you back. And you've lost all your momentum now.
And I'd like to use that remaining advantage as well. What the?
You
There's
don't.
no advantage.
You don't have any.
You lose it all.
Once
When you
Oh,
lose
yeah,
it,
that's
when
right.
you
Once
lose
again,
it, you lose
I'm
it
sorry.
all.
Okay. And then I'm going to attempt a dodge.
Well, okay, yeah. You can. So the troll gets one advantage for winning an opposed test against Lucian, and he comes down with his club against you. So it's 6. Six against your body. You have tough. Well, what's your toughness bonus? I'm assuming 3.
It is 4.
Your toughness bonus is 4. And do you have any armor on?
I'm looking.
You should. Right?
Yeah, I've got. Yep, arm,
body
body, left. Yeah, I've got body armor, left arm, right arm,
Okay.
leg,
What is it?
leather.
Was that 1?
I think so.
Yeah, it's just 1. It's all
Yeah.
just 1. Yep.
So your toughness of 4 and your armor of 1 is 5. He hit for 6, so you take 1 damage. What's your starting health?
Where
Did you-
is that on the sheet?
It'll
15.
yeah, it'll say your wounds, how many wounds you have.
Yeah, it's 15.
15. So
I marked it.
okay. Oh, I'm gonna mark it down here. So under your red tag, I'm putting how many wounds you have.
Yeah, what Durak said.
Oh yeah, I was counting the negative. I don't count that. I count it from the.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to kill Lucian, but
No.
I
know.
do want the troll to be intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at 3.
Plus 3 is to hit. Yeah, I should have counted that plus 3 in the melee. Not down there. So it's just plus 3 more to hit. So that just takes you to 11, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just misunderstood.
Okay. Yeah, and that was the troll.
I thought that was a free attack. You got.
That was the free attack.
Oh,
It was.
yeah.
Yep.
Because that was Lucian's attack that he countered. That's right. Now it's the troll's turn.
I thought it was Durak. Isn't it Durak's
It
turn?
is.
Oh,
me.
it's Durak.
Durak's
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
kidding.
trying to get in on Lucian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I smell blood.
the troll's faster now.
Yep, Durak.
Yeah, seeing the manling take a beating, he's getting frustrated because he wants the troll to fight him. He's, what's the matter, you big blue bugger? You afraid of a dwarf? Come on then! And is just gonna go in again with his axes. I should have one advantage. I succeeded on the last test, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna, of course, spend it again, and go in on the troll.
Ooh. And the troll is gonna try and deflect that. Oh, with a
Bloody
plus
hell.
1 SL. So Durak, you attempt to hit him, but the troll, after fighting with Lucian at your side, getting some momentum, swinging back with his club, he knocks your axe away.
Ah, you wazzick!
And then it's Juliana.
Juliana's hands are shaking. It's dark. She kneels down and she starts to kind of restring her bow. She can hear the fighting going on, Lucian crying out in pain. Durak getting frustrated now. She's trying really hard to try to restring this as fast as she can.
Okay. It's the troll's turn. At the beginning of the troll's turn, he gains 4 more hit points. And you guys see him up there, and his wounds begin healing more and more. The blood is drying up. The wounds are closing right in front of your eyes. And he goes to swing, and whether it's just animalistic hatred or single-mindedness, he raises his club up on Lucian again. He's going to use his advantage. And he's going to bring it down on Lucian.
Hey! Holy crap!
Did Lucian get his weapon?
Oh yeah, he got his weapon knocked out of his hands.
Oh man.
Gotta roll dodge.
No, I thought he just knocked my swing aside.
Yeah, he just knocked his
Oh,
swing
okay.
aside.
It was
Disregard,
just a
I
parry,
misunderstood.
basically.
Yeah.
Now
He
it
didn't.
sounds like we actually are trying to kill Lucian. That's not the intention.
How does that look, Lucian? That was a...
So, the troll swings toward Lucian, and Lucian was still kind of catching his breath, looks up at the last second and sees this massive club coming toward him, and he just throws his axe out almost in a more so to shield his face and head with his arm, and by the grace of Sigmar, the club just glances off the actual blade part of the axe, and Lucian grins and then grits his teeth. All right, you pretty fucker, let's go.
Okay.
So, swinging again at this troll.
And we're gonna do this because I totally forgot. He is stunned.
Oh, that's right, he should have lost a turn.
No, he just takes minuses to defense and attack, I think. For stun.
Yeah, no, stunned right here. You have been struck about the head or otherwise disoriented. Incapable of taking an action on your turn, but are capable of half your normal movement.
Oh.
You can defend yourself in opposed tests. You suffer -10 penalty to all tests. And if you have a stun condition, any opponent trying to strike you in melee combat gains 1 advantage before rolling the attack. So I get a -10, and you get a +10 to your attacks against me, to our opposed tests.
So I rolled a -2.
Take the
Yeah.
pain, Menling. It's all good now.
Alright, so Lucian is going to swing, and I'm going to use that advantage.
And then I will take my disadvantage. Yep, so you hit him with a +3. And you hit him on the right arm. 7, 8, 9, 10. -7. So he takes 3 damage.
So Lucian goes to swing, and he feels the effects of that body blow, and he's not able to quite get everything into it as he connects with the troll's arm. And he just looks over to Durak expectingly.
Durak grits his teeth and goes in to swing again. Both axes swinging wildly. Will use the 1 advantage.
And he has disadvantage for being stunned. Oof.
So that's going to be 8, 3, and then toughness. So 16 minus 7. 9 again.
Another 9. Oof.
Yeah, Yeah, Durak just keeps swinging, trying to cut and swing and slice. Just whirlwinding into the troll, trying to take it down as quickly as he can.
Yeah, and you hit it, and you hear a sickening crunch, and you hit it hard, and the troll screeches and yells out, and you can see its body pivot as if it's turning towards the water.
Not in my name.
And Juliana.
Juliana, she gets her bow restrung, hand still shaking when she lights the arrow again and tries to fire, trying to just help in some way. I'm gonna spend fortune on that and reroll it.
Okay.
I want to hit. Yeah!
Oh!
Yeah!
That
And-
left arm's gonna be jacked.
Hell yeah. So, is it 7 plus 3? I think.
Mm-hmm. So, 10, plus you got a critical success.
On the left arm.
On the left arm.
So roll D100.
Yeah, let me get to that again. Yep, go ahead.
51.
What was it?
51.
51. Clean break. An audible crack resounds as the blow strikes the arm. The troll drops his club that he was holding and gains the broken bone injury. He has to pass a difficult -10 endurance test or gain another stunned condition, and you do an extra 3 automatic damage. So what's the total damage you do?
Be 13 then, the 10 plus the 3. Then minus whatever's toughness.
Okay. And you see the troll fall to the ground, winded, injured, bleeding out, lying there just its club at its side. The troll is lying there, its feet halfway hanging into the water. And he's just looking up at Durak and Lucian, his eyes fixed, glazed over. It's your guys' turn.
Lucian moves over top of the troll, axe in hand, and he goes to try and put a final blow into the troll's skull. Brings down a heavy hand, and the axe makes more of a solid thud as it makes contact.
And the troll, as you're coming down to make... Go ahead and roll a D100 for me. As you go to bring your axe down, the troll turns its head almost as if flinching, and at the last second you scrape the side of its head as you bring the axe down. And it just winces and just lies there, breathing heavily. Breathing getting slower. Until it's barely moving at all, and you can just barely see its chest rise and fall, its stomach moving as it takes short, shallow breaths.
Durak's gonna jump onto its back rather ungracefully and just try to slam both of his axes into its skull repeatedly.
And its weakened state, eyes closing and breathing slowing down, you have no issues doing that. The Slayer flies through the air, his red beard and red mohawk just kind of frazzled and all over the place as he comes down on top of the river troll, bringing both axes down onto it. And there's a crunch as the wet meat just slices open, and the troll lets out one last gasping breath. And all life leaves its body.
Seeing that, Lucian sort of slumps down and just slouches over, and he's breathing hard. And he looks up to Durak and...
I've never been so glad to see a dwarf in all my life.
And I doubt you ever will be again. And he jumps off of its back and looks at Lucian and, oh, manling, womanling, I've got to say you both got stones. Most human folk don't bother with this sort of trouble. But you took it in stride and you didn't back down from a challenge. Good on you. He looks at Lucian. But looks like it gave you some parting wishes as well. Take a look at it real quickly. Durak's gonna just look over and see how badly hurt Lucian is and try to fix him up a bit.
Yeah, you can make a what is it?
It would be heal, I believe.
Yeah, you can make a heal roll.
Oh my god.
Whoa!
Yeah, you in the dark with your dwarven eyes, you're able to see exactly. And you take a couple of bandages out from a little pouch you have tied around a belt on your waist, and you press them into the wounds, stopping the bleeding. You take another bandage and quickly tie it around his entire waist, chest area, creating like a swath, and it puts pressure on the bandages that are in the wound and immediately stops all the bleeding. And you look at Lucian, and he visibly just looks like he's more comfortable. Whether it's the pressure on the dressing, the fact that it's not bleeding anymore, he's obviously more comfortable.
Oh, there you go. Careful moving around on that. You took a nice solid hit from the club. Luckily, I don't think you broke any ribs, but you're going to be feeling sore, so I suggest not any too strenuous physical activity for the next few hours, at least.
Yeah. Thanks, Doc.
And he nods to Luciana and is going to go about the exciting business of collecting a nice bit of trophy from this troll.
Yeah, go ahead and explain what you're doing, Dora, because I have a really good idea of what you're doing.
So, Durak goes about collecting trophies here and there, teeth. If that bone necklace is correct, he'd take it as well. Maybe rock it as a belt. But mainly he's interested in what remains of the skull of this beast. Rather carefully, he begins to go ahead and shear away the skin and flesh of the monster, and works to carefully try to detach what's left of the skull. He's also going to try to fashion some crude trinkets from its teeth, its flesh, things like that, just wearing outward symbols of his victory.
Juliana, she'd ran over at this point, kind of after the battle, and knelt down beside Lucien, and she kind of fawns over him a bit, looking at kind of the dressings that Duroc did, and she's put her bow beside her. She's looking at Lucien, holding his face. I'm glad they're okay.
And Lucien is just stunned silent in the fact that he was just almost killed by a troll. Oh, he just
Yeah. Oh no.
said his Discord is messed up. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. Let's take 5 while he reboots Discord.
Sure.
Doable.
Man,
Killed your troll.
well, the problem is the trolls, they're not very good fighters, but if they get a couple of good hits in, oof.
You're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if he can get up enough advantage to use his vomit attack.
Oh,
Ugh. Which I was hoping for. He got up to 1 advantage the whole time.
I'm glad I critted that arm. That was awesome. Fucking dropping the yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
Juliana feels
You guys and your
successful.
crits.
Mm-hmm.
That first attack that Duroc did was
Oh my
just
God.
devastating. Especially when I remembered to use the stunned disadvantage against him. It just made him so much worse.
Was that an auto crit ability?
Well, yeah, basically. There's fate points in this game that you can use to alter different things. One of them is dice roll. And he used his, and once you use them though, they're gone.
Yeah.
These are limited resources. Once you use them, they're gone. He used his to make his roll a nat 1, so a successful critical success.
That's pretty awesome ability.
How many of those do you have left, Ghost? Or is that it?
Oh, he might be bathroom breaking.
Yeah, he's pissing.
Yep. Straight pissing. Hey, TD's back. Can you hear us?
Is he back?
Bark.
Is that just a PC allowed
Oh, we can't hear you.
thing, or do enemies get that? Or
Most enemies don't get it, but if I'm, a major NPC villain type that you want to be on the same level as the PC, you can totally build them that way.
yeah.
Like the troll, he didn't have anything like that.
Right.
Still can't hear you, buddy, if you're talking.
No, I wasn't
Oh,
talking. You guys were
hey!
talking.
Okay. Just want to make sure. But hey, everything's back.
But
I
yeah,
never
there's a couple.
stop my recording, so you're good.
Okay. But yeah, there's a couple things like that that you can use to alter results and different things.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. All right, I'll let you guys go back.
You back, dude?
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
All right. So I think Juliana was the last one to. She was doing something.
Yeah, she rushed over to Lucien, fawning over her a bit, holding his face. And, I'm glad you're okay.
And Lucian still kind of slouched over. He's breathing heavy. I'm not ready to leave you yet, my dear.
Well, you better not be ready to leave at any point. She'll lean in and kiss him.
And as Juliana finishes her kiss, he just grins, sort of a half grin, and looks at her.
She, after staring at Lucian, she gazes up at Duroc, looks around the cave. Well, if we are finished with this, maybe we could get out of here. Though, she's gonna look around for, because we saw the body it was holding. I'm guessing it was Alwyn. She's gonna kind of look around for him.
Sure, go ahead and make a perception test. Everyone can make a perception test.
Durac's gonna forgo his. He's a bit busy.
Okay. Juliana, you look around, and as you're looking around, you do come across the foulness, the vile remains of what looks like a leg, a human leg that the troll had been chomping on when you guys surprised him.
She'll look down with a sigh, look back to the others. The captain is, he is not going to be happy.
Maybe not, but he knew the risks in coming out here with us, sending out his man.
It's true, but does not mean that he will not be upset.
You'll get over it. Shame too that Manling was decent.
Yes, he seemed like a very good man. Doc, is there anything else that we need from in here, or can we depart?
Well, he pulls the skull free. I've got what I need. You want to pick through the crumbs of a troll den? I suppose that you're welcome to it. Not as if the troll's gonna miss it. Might be something of value in here. But other than that, no. We can leave.
Lucian's head will pick up for a moment and look over to Duroc.
Didn't you mention something once about trolls and treasure?
Aye, look about. Anything shiny is probably treasure for a troll, and even these rusty old swords and whatnot, but you won't know unless you pick through the rubbish. You don't mind getting your hands dirty, I suppose you could have a go at it, but I'm not so inclined. I've got my treasure.
We might as well. I guess we came all the way in here. We might as well get something out of it. And Juliana starts pushing around and looking around at the bits, seeing if she can find anything.
Sure, since you're actively and specifically searching, you can make a perception plus 20.
I reroll that.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Oh, even better.
Oof. So, Ileana, you're almost on your hands and fumbling around in the dark, looking around. Your hands are getting muddy and dirty. Clothes are getting dirty. And then you finally call it when you put your hand into a what looks like a pile of trinkets, only to reach down into a pile of troll excrement.
Yeah, she kind of pulls back. And if they could see in there, just this look of disgust on her face as she kind of quickly runs over back to the water and starts washing off her hands. I don't think there's anything in here. Oh, I can't find anything. She'll aggressively kind of wash her hands together.
Look like you put your hand full of treasure right there.
Is Juliana the only one looking around?
Yeah, Duroc has his treasure.
Yeah, Lucian's not really gonna make any effort to look around, as the dwarf said that the probably really not anything of value, and Lucian is still laboring over a few smaller wounds.
Okay. So, as Duroc takes the time to collect his trophies and Juliana searches the troll's den, not finding anything of any value, and Lucian tends to his wounds, you eventually all finally start to make your way back out of the cave.
As they're heading out, just gonna look to the other two. She's still fairly nervous in here. She kind of looks around. Do you think that that shadow from earlier? Do you think that might have been the troll?
I don't know. You're the one that saw it. How big was it?
I couldn't tell you. It was fairly far away. It could have been my size. It could have been its size. It was just a flash.
Well, if it was your size, then no. If it was bigger, then probably.
I will continue to keep eyes out just in case. You can enjoy yourself. Not revel in your destruction of the troll.
Our destruction, womanling. I am not too proud to admit that you lot played some part in it.
I will say I am fairly content with how it did turn out. I did have some reservations for coming here. I am sad that Alwyn is no more, but I am glad the three of us survived.
All due respect to the deceased, I'll tell a manling to kill a troll any day of the week.
Juliana will give a smile to Duroc and look over to Lucian.
And as they're talking back and forth, Lucian is just thinking about what Juliana had said earlier about the shadow she had seen, and he stops and he turns to Duroc and he says, "Didn't you say that if it was a troll and had noticed us, it would have just attacked us right away on the spot?"
I think the manling said that, but he was sound of thought. It definitely raises the question of what else would be in the cave, but I'm not inclined to go digging. We did our duty. Now, if I knew what it was and it was something worth fighting, maybe I could be convinced. But, like the former first mate, I suppose, said as we were coming to shore, the wreckage looked like it was Troll that did it. Troll and pirates, apparently. Troll's dead. Job's done. Going back to the ship's about all we've got left. I don't plan on traipsing about this cave.
No, you're absolutely right. We should make haste back to the dinghy, make our way back to the ship, and inform the captain of what's happened here.
Yes. Let us hurry. I'd rather be out of here sooner than later.
So catching your breath, trudging in the darkness, the cave, your boots squishing in the muck and mire of the... You make your way back through the narrow crags. You've already made it through once. You get back through again, easily once again, until you guys come out back to the entrance where you had been in originally. You come out, the boat is still there. The dinghy's still there. You can see off in the distance. The flames are a little less now, dying down. Not getting any worse. It looks like the flames will be going out soon. And as you come out, everything looks just as you left it.
Juliana will happily, as they see the mouth of the cave, she'll happily kind of hurry out. You can see she's very relieved when they leave the cave. Deep breaths and stretching as they get outside. Oh, no more caves, please. No more tight spaces, at least for a while, please.
Agreed. Let's get our way onto the dinghy. It's best we don't hang around any longer, I feel.
And walking by the wreckage of the Mistress one last time, everyone make a perception test at +20. As you make your way back to the dinghy, walking somewhat half-hearted at the loss of Alwyn, who went with you guys on this journey, knowing that you're going to have to return to the ship and let the captain know. Lucian, you look over at the Mistress and you notice something.
Lucian's walking along on the outside of some of the wreckage, and the other two are talking or doing whatever it is Juliana's talking about, getting back to the ship. Lucian's kind of got his head down, and he's a little more lost in thought. And for whatever reason, as he takes one last look over toward the Mistress, he sees a body laying. Turns to the other two. Hold up for just a moment.
Oh. Juliana will be close to the boat, but she'll stop, cocking her head slightly. What is it?
Just a moment. Might be best if you just hold here for a moment.
Lucian will make his way around to the place where they had boarded or made their way into the wreckage before, and then makes his way over to the body. And about how big is this?
Lucian, you walk up and you see what looks to be the body of what you can only assume to be a pirate, a river pirate, by the looks of his dress, his garb, the bandana on his head. He looks like a river pirate, and you can see that he is forcefully holding on to, in death, a small wooden chest.
As Lucian approaches this body, he pulls his dagger and just pokes the body just to ensure that it's not alive. And upon seeing no reaction, he reaches for the chest and attempts to release the grip from the dead body.
Yeah, you're able to pull it away with a little bit of force, pull it out of the pirate's hands, and his hands go thudding to the ground as you pull up and away with the small wooden chest.
So Lucian makes his way back over to the edge of the ship and drops it down, and then climbs down after the chest. He looks to the other two. Well, maybe this wasn't all for naught. I mean, Durak, you got your prize, but what exactly did Juliana and I get?
The adventure of a lifetime. A rather short lifetime for the two of you, I imagine, but I suppose you've got whatever's in that as well.
And
Okay.
Lucian will kneel down next to the chest and begin trying to pry it open.
And the chest is locked. And you're trying to pry it open, but it's not budging. You can see there's a keyhole. So obviously the chest is locked, but it's still obviously something that this pirate did not want to let go of in life or death.
Lucian squints and looks at the keyhole, and he picks the small chest up and begins turning it side to side, up and down, just examining it as he's really looking it over, and then turns and looks back over his shoulder. I wonder if the key is still on that ship.
It might be on the body you found it on. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but I suppose it's worth another look. I'm not gonna go digging around too much, but I will at least check that body out. Lucian will climb back onto the ship and begin inspecting the body a little more closely.
And as you go rummaging through the pockets of this dead river pirate, you find two things. You find a gold coin in his pocket, and you find a silver key.
Lucian takes a second and examines the gold coin, flips it over, looks at both sides of it, and then he pockets it, and then he looks at the silver key, just holds it tight in his hand, and then makes his way back over to the chest, and then whispers into Juliana's ear, "It might be better if we just wait until we're back on the ship in our own private quarters. Not to exclude Durak, because certainly he'll get a share. I'm indebted to him, and I feel it's only right, but for now, perhaps it's best we just leave this place."
Alright. We can open it back on this ship.
I just don't wish to linger.
Neither do I. It is ominous being here, and well, I'd like to get going and let the captain know as soon as possible.
Agreed. Lucian will look over to Durak, and he just nods his head toward the to the dinghy, and begins to walk that way as he's carrying the chest under his arm.
Durak
And-
doesn't pay much mind, he just goes to the dinghy.
And it's not even so large a chest that you have to create it. It's a small, maybe 1 foot by, 1 foot chest, a small chest. So you guys climb into the dinghy. You look out across the dark water, and you can see the silhouette of the ship still out there. So they're still out there waiting. They're waiting for some kind of word about what's going on here. You get out into the dinghy and slowly, painfully row your way back to the ship. As you're approaching, you can see the captain on the side leaning over, and he's looking and he's looking and he's looking. And then Saskia runs over and she's looking. And you can see her look at the captain and put her hand up to her mouth as you guys approach. And just as you get close to the boat and throw the rope up, you can see Saskia turn and run away.
Lucien will attempt to make his way up onto the ship and do his best to help Juliana make her way up onto the ship.
Yeah, she'll take Lucian's hand and make her way onto the ship. And as she touches down, she'll look to the captain and start kind of making her way over to him.
And the captain has a stern look on his face. And he starts walking towards you as you walk towards him. And what of Alwyn?
Unfortunately, Alwyn died in the fight.
Lucien will reach and grab, not hard, Juliana by the shoulder and hand the chest to her and step in front of her, and he faces the captain face to face.
Your man, Alwyn. A man of metal. Most definitely. He did what he could. We came across a troll, and the ship on the shore he recognized as the mistress looked like pirates. But upon tracking the tracks, we came to a cave, and there was a troll. And the troll, unfortunately, got the better of your man. But Alwyn definitely imposed his will and inflicted his damage and did his deed. But he's not coming back.
Lucien will reach out and put his hand on the captain's shoulder.
And I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say for you. Other than he was a good man. You lost a good man today.
And Captain Frisch looks at you, and you can see his eyes becoming red as tears start to well up. So it was a troll, eh? He knew what he was going after. He's faced a couple of trolls before in the past, you know. Did he go down fighting?
Tooth and nail, Captain.
And he takes a breath. Well, that's the best I can ask for, right? My second went down fighting. Fighting a troll. Fighting a troll in his lair. And he sighs deeply again, and he turns around and he walks towards the edge and puts his hands on the railing of the ship and looks down at the water. His body. What of his body?
Lucian will approach to the side as the captain is looking over the edge. And Lucian wrinkles his face a bit.
It was one hell of a whopping that your man Alwyn took. And we didn't feel it was right bringing him back in that condition. No.
And the captain just turns away and starts to walk off, and he stops as he's walking off. I understand. I wouldn't have wanted to see him like that anyways.
Lucian just looks back toward the captain.
He was a strong and honorable man. And without him, I very highly doubt any of us would be coming back. He stepped in the way and took a blow for me. I caught some of it, but he caught the worst of it. But still, as I said, he was a man of metal, and he most definitely inflicted his damage. And that troll might not know his name, but we do, and we shall remember him. And I don't know what else to say to you, Captain, but we thank you for having that man have our backs in that situation.
And the captain turns around and he looks at you and he looks you in the eye. Thank you. Thank you for remembering him. And carry his memory. I'll carry his memory.
Lucian will extend a hand out to the captain.
You better believe it, on my life.
And the captain puts his hand out and grabs Lucian's hand and he says, well, I guess I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to go have a drink for my friend. My friend, Alwyn Folk, second mate of this ship. I will see you folks in the morning. And he puts his head down and he puts his hands up to his face. You can see him wiping his eyes as he disappears to his cabin.
Lucian will just begin to walk away from the encounter, and he comes up alongside Juliana and pulls her in closely and just kisses her on her head, and then whispers to her,
I think we best, if not retire for the night, at least go back to our quarters and clean up a bit.
Yes.
Maybe we'll also have a drink.
Oh,
Might steady
phew.
our nerves.
Yes, I would like at least a few drinks after this. That was... I am glad that you handled that. I'm afraid I am much more plain than you are with words.
No sense in bringing a man down like that. That Alwyn, He knew what he was up against, and he just happened to be the one unfortunate one.
I'm still glad it wasn't one of us, but let us retire and speak further there. And she'll look over to Duroc. Have a good night, Duroc. Good work.
Oh, aye, so happy to have your approval, womanling. He kind of continues swabbing the deck. But aye, have a good night as well, I suppose. I'll be having the best night I've had in years.
Lucian looks over to Duroc and just grins a little bit.
No doubt you have a lot to celebrate.
Oh, aye. A lot to celebrate. I've slain a troll. It's a big step up from what I used to kill.
Indeed, and I'm truly grateful you had my back in there.
You're welcome as well. And she'll smile at Lucian and make her way back to their cabin.
Anytime, manling. Fine, Lucian. You got stones, I suppose. Not stones as big as mine, of course, but stones.
I appreciate that, dwarf.
And with that, Lucian will turn away and pulls Juliana by the waist.
She'll be a bit surprised. I thought we were going for drinks.
Well, maybe we'll have drinks after our first session. After all, I'll need to recuperate a little bit.
Yes,
As will you.
not all. I did just help kill a troll. And she grins and continues walking down.
If you think the troll tired you out, you just wait.
She rolls her eyes. Always the big talk.
A man's got to be good at something.
Yes, and you'll have a handful of things that you're good at. I'll see if it's more after tonight.
Lucian will just grin and gives a soft chuckle and then continues on into the quarters.
So you guys continue on over to your quarters. You can still hear the water lapping outside. It's getting later, but you're in your quarters now. Duroc is up on top of the deck, on top the top deck of the ship.
When they get back inside the quarters, she'll put the chest down on whatever surface, if there's a desk, and she'll turn to Lucian. Before anything else, I'm kind of curious to see what's in here.
Of course. Of course.
And Lucian just shakes his head for a minute.
You look in the chest and I'll tend to my wounds a little more closely.
Fine. You'll shape up better. You'll need the strength, and she'll take the key from him and open the chest if it works.
Yeah, so you put the silver key into the chest and you turn it gently and you hear the click as the top of the chest gives just a little bit.
And as she clicks open the treasure chest, she'll open it, not really concerned or anything, but she'll pull open the lid and look inside.
As you pull open the lid and look inside, you're a little confused, expecting to see gold or gems or jewels. You see none of those things. Instead, down there in the chest is a single stone, a green stone. It's about the size of a man's fist. And it's almost as if there's the faintest glow coming off of it. You think maybe it's a trick of light, maybe you're tired. But that's all that's in there.
She'll reach down, she'll pick it up, turn it in her hands, looking it over. And she shows it to Lucian. Look at this. Do you think it might be maybe one of the things that that merchant was looking for?
I don't think it's a coincidence that it would be all locked up like that. It's obviously precious. That pirate back there on that ship was guarding it with his life, not willing to let go. I'd say that's a good bet that that's exactly what it is.
And she'll kind of turn it over in both of her hands, looking it over. I hope that we find more. This is beautiful.
And as you two look over the green stone that was in the locked chest, Durak, up on the deck, as you're swabbing the deck, gleeful, happy about your kill, off in the shadows, in the dark, you see a flash of light, and then you notice Akko sitting in the dark with something rolled that he's obviously smoking. The glow brightens his face and you can see that he's looking at you. And as you notice him, he throws whatever it is he was smoking over the side and hisses in the water. And he smiles at you. And he turns around and walks away back to his cabin. And with that, the scene goes black, and that's it.